All right, welcome to Season 6, Episode 16, also known as Episode 179 of the Retro Game Club podcast. My name is Hugh, and joining me is the Australian breakdancing champion, Rob.
Rob Gunn. That's what they call me now.
B-boy Rob Gunn.
I think she's a national hero. She really is. And in fact...
Now, was she trolling? Was that a troll?
It's hard to tell. It's hard to tell because she seems so sincere and she still does. But I can tell you what. Now I know what my Halloween costume is for literally the rest of my life.
Yeah. Yeah, I saw some clip that proved that she could actually break dance really well. That's why I was asking if it was a deliberate troll. So,
I don't know.
How much Olympic breakdancing did you watch?
I think I saw like one person.
Okay. So I watched it out of curiosity. First of all, every competitor is named B-Boy. Every single one of them.
Yeah, I think every
joke.
Dancer. Like, not competitor, just every break dancer.
Yeah, it'd be like B-Boy Rob and B-Boy Doug or B-Boy, whatever. Which I'm like, if the NBA team or the basketball team came out, they're all named LeBron, I'd be like, okay, something's up here. But the other part is, why is the other competitor like standing there giving them the stink eye like during their routine? Did you notice that? Like
they were like yawning and stuff like that. Yeah.
Like, can you imagine like floor exercise worked like that?
I think it would make it better.
Or diving, like one of the rival divers stood on like the opposite board and just kind of looked bored while the other person was diving.
I think that they should do that. I think it would make it better.
Okay. I know it's kind of an old man thing. I mean, I grew up, I went to grade school at a time when there was a breakdancing scare. So breakdancing was new in the early 80s, and I was in grade school. In the schools, there were lots of urban legends. We didn't have the internet yet, but disinformation made its way out to everywhere.
Yeah.
And there were all these stories of kids who broke their necks spinning on their head from breakdancing. Like, it just happened all the time in every school constantly.
We're about the same age, and that never got through our school. We were all wearing parachute pants trying to spin on our heads.
Yeah. So the school that I went to, when breakdancing was big, banned, like at recess, people would like find cardboard in the garbage can or whatever and do breakdancing, but head spinning was banned.
Okay.
Because some kid that you never heard of in some state that may not exist broke his neck.
Yeah.
Doing the head spin.
Did you watch skateboarding this year?
No, because I thought it was so awful last time.
It was fantastic this time. So like last time, I remember that it's crazy. This podcast has been around for more than 2 Olympics. But last time, like you said, it wasn't the skaters' fault last time. It was the events they chose. Like, do a trick, and doing tricks like that is very difficult if it's especially kind of in that form. This time it was all like pool runs and ramps and stuff you see at the X Games, which looks amazing. So I thought it was fantastic this time.
Yeah, I just remember last time it was a bunch of guys that couldn't land a single trick.
It's pretty much what it felt like. But this time it was actually pretty epic. A lot of epic stuff happened. And Australia was 3rd or 4th in gold medals. So not bad for a country that has less people than California.
Yeah.
In fact,
swimming, right? You guys kind of clean up in swimming.
And kayaking and skateboarding. And so I enjoyed watching what I did. Speaking of events, did you play Nintendo World Championship?
No, I did not. I did not even buy it.
It's not. I personally think it's not as good as Remix, but I do think it got the essence of speedrunning very well. The problem is that I don't like speedrunning, and also people younger than us don't have the muscle memory we do for these games. So my kids saw it and really wanted to play it, And oh my God, that was rough. Really,
Oh, I imagine, yeah.
really not a fun experience. Being like, no, just hit B and run, and yeah, get the mushroom. Especially the short, like how fast can you get the mushroom runs? You're getting to the, I guess you'd call it event. That takes longer than actually doing the run. So I don't know, stuff like that wasn't too fun with me, but I was surprised they didn't remember Iwata's balloon fight challenge, where if you get, I think it's like 20 balloons without missing one, they all turn a different color in balloon
Kinda,
fight.
yeah. I haven't played Balloon Fight in a while, except for on NES Remix.
I like that game more than I think most people, and I was surprised they didn't have that, but I guess it makes sense because it's a scrolling screen, auto scroller, so I guess you can't speedrun that one. But anyway, what have you been up to?
What have I been up to? Oh, I look at my list here. Well, so I was thinking about building a new PC. At least I attempted to. Because, really, because I'm running out of drive storage. It's kind of a weird thing to be like, I'm going to build a new computer because I'm also out of hard drive space. But it kind of makes sense in my own weird mind. Like, the computer I have right now is pretty old. You know, I built it probably 10 years ago. But it was good high-end stuff, so it is still holding up very well.
Mm-hmm.
TLDR, I returned everything, and I'm not going to try anymore.
What are you going to do?
I don't know. I had multiple dead motherboards as part of this build, so I tried a few times. I think there's a good chance I will just get, like, the highest-end Mac Mini plus a Steam Deck.
Yeah, that sounds like the right choice.
And then I don't need, like, one big computer that can do everything.
Yeah, and the Mac Minis are so powerful, especially, like, I think it's seriously in, like, 3 weeks the new ones come out. So you could either get that one or wait and get
I'm
half
gonna wait.
price.
I mean, I put in the notes here that I'm going to be recording, like, 10 more podcast episodes ever. Well, probably ballpark. Maybe more, maybe less, but possibly less. So it's like, well, you know what? I'll wait till winter break, because then I can tear down my PC and unhook everything and not worry about, like, oh, I got to be set up in time to record, because I don't care. In fact, this big studio mic I have right here, I don't know what I'm going to do with this, because I don't use it for Zoom calls anymore. I used to swap it between this computer and my work computer, but now I'm like, you know what? I don't really care if I sound great on work calls.
Yeah. In fact, it's probably better if you don't.
Yeah. So I got to figure out, but yeah, I've got like a mic and all, you know,
I actually put a link, an AliExpress link for you in my notes on the computer. I think you should get.
Is this the 386 or something?
So this is, this ended up in my feed somehow. So this is a tiny Mac Classic recreation. It's $700. The monitor is optional. In it, it says no computer, no system, but then it also says it's an i3. So for $700, you get an i3 with minimal RAM and no screen in this tiny, very cool looking Mac Classic case. In its description, it says pure handwork is inevitably flawed, and it is not recommended to buy if you have high requirements. No refunds for any reasons.
So I do own a mini Macintosh, but it only plays Oregon Trail.
Okay, that's a good use for it.
And it was $700 less than this computer.
Is it incredibly flawed?
Well, it plays Oregon Trail just fine. That's all it was built to do. It looks like it's a mini ITX motherboard.
It is. It's just a case with a mini ITX motherboard. And I actually had this exact same idea back when the first Raspberry Pi came out. And the first, like, what's just smaller than a mini ITX? It's like Nano ITX maybe? I don't know. But
I don't know. I haven't looked into that.
Yeah, but I went through like 3 CAD designers, literally paying them, and it all just fell through. I had an idea to sell something like this, but good. But what the heck else was I gonna say about that? Yeah, I'm sure I'll remember soon. What else have you been up to?
Oh, so I was driving with my wife the other weekend, and we saw a sign for like an estate sale, and like, oh, we drove by it, and it was huge. It just had like tons and tons of junk. And I said, well, I don't need more junk. And my wife's like, well, let's go check it out, because sometimes, when they just have a lot of stuff, sometimes there's something good hiding in there.
Yeah.
And there's a box of like CDs and computer software. And while I was flipping through it, I just saw the spine for Hotel Mario for CDI. Philips CDI Hotel Mario on the spine. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I opened it up. Did you see what was in the case?
Yes, I did.
It was not Hotel Mario. It was the greatest hits of Ricky Van Shelton. Mm-hmm. I assume is a country singer. Mm-hmm. I'm going off the name as a country singer. I'm not familiar with his work. Well, I just Googled him. Country is the only genre that guy could do. Okay. So I asked the guy running the sale, like, hey, do you maybe have this game somewhere? Like, somewhere else? And he's like, game? First of all, like, he didn't really process. I'm like, did you ever own like a Philips CD, like a system that looked like a CD player but was by Philips? And he's like, oh yeah, my brother took that like years ago. Like, okay, thank you. That's probably where Hotel Mario is. It's probably in there. CDI, in there. So I did not get Hotel Mario for CDI, which again, I own a functional CDI, so that would have been kind of a cool find.
Totally, yeah. And it sounds like it would have been priced pretty nice.
Oh yeah, everything there was dirt cheap. I don't remember if I bought. I didn't buy anything there. My wife might have gotten something, but it was one of these just like, everything has to go kind of deals. Mm-hmm. So it was like everything from the entire house in the front yard.
I miss those.
Pretty nutty.
Yeah.
So what else have you been up to?
Let's see.
Notes here.
Oh, I tried playing. Have you ever played or heard of Destroy All Humans? It's a video game.
I've heard of it, but I don't know it.
I like alien type stuff, sci-fi stuff, so I figured I'd finally check it out. It's been in my library forever, and I've just never played it. There's always been something I wanted to play more. And so, it was one of the few games I brought with me with my Switch, so it would force me to play it. And this game should be great. But it has like everything you want in like a third-person campy shooter. And it is just somehow so boring. Like, it ticks all the boxes. It's not buggy at all. The play control is fine, but it's just not fun. So that was kind of disappointing, but I guess that's what the reviews are. And then, let's see. Oh, yeah, I forgot to mention this during our Olympic segment, but there really hasn't been a good Olympics game maybe since like the 84 Olympics, meaning video games.
Yeah, like you think of the Epics game?
Yeah. And again, that was only good for the time. Playing it now is kind of rough. What do you think it would take to make like a good Olympic Games? Like the only thing I could think of would maybe to add like RPG elements, maybe like training and traveling and interviews. You have to get sponsorship. It'd be like almost like Olympic simulator instead of the Olympic Games, Yeah,
I mean, I was thinking about this because I saw it in the notes. The problem I think is I could probably make one Olympic event into a good game. Mm-hmm. I think I would have a very hard time making all the Olympic events into a good game. And that's really the problem with a lot of these. They maybe get, track and field gets some mechanics down really well. Mm-hmm. Trying to think what else was good. Clearly, you can't do every event ever, but you would have to like have small teams building good versions of each game.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
like I think that it would be the trick, but it means you'd have to build stuff like a good rugby game. Mm-hmm. That's probably hard. Nintendo's already made a good table tennis game. I wouldn't bother competing with them on that one. Trying to think of other events. Not breaking.
Well, that's what I was thinking. What about, so my other question was like, Or maybe make different versions of California games. Like there could be Michigan games that have like stupid like ice fishing or skiing when like water skiing when it's like 50 degrees out, or fireworks in June through August.
Yeah, fireworks in June through August.
Nighttime lawn mowing.
Drunken snowmobiling. I had nighttime lawn mowing just last week, man. It was a nice day out. I opened my windows. I was sitting on my couch relaxing, and one of my neighbors was mowing until it was well past dark.
Yeah, I've been there.
I'm like, do you love mosquitoes? Like, is that? I don't understand why this guy was mowing his lawn at like almost 10 o'clock. He was basically 10 o'clock when he finished. I'm just figuring maybe his spouse yelled at him to take care of the lawn. I don't know, man.
Or what about you made me think of this earlier. What if there's an Olympic Games that comes out after the Olympics every year, and it's all the games that got dropped? So breaking, what else has been dropped recently?
Yeah, I mean, dueling was an event at one point.
Exactly. Yeah, and it could just like accumulate these games over the years, like the rejected games.
Yeah. So first of all, I contend you could still do a dueling event in the Olympics with like paintballs. Mm-hmm. Like why? I don't understand why that wouldn't be an event. But breaking got me thinking, and this is completely serious, right? Mm-hmm. Because breaking is a performance event, and like dance swimming or whatever it's called, artistic swimming maybe.
Synchronized, yeah.
It's not called that anymore. It's called like artistic swimming now.
Jeez.
Like, why not just have pro wrestling?
At that point, yeah.
Like, why not? It's a athletic performance. Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. It's definitely more entertaining than breaking. And
it's wildly popular.
It's wildly popular. Lots of countries do it. It's not like U.S. would dominate, right? Japan, it's a huge thing. Mexico, it's a huge thing, right? Mm-hmm. So Japan, you could easily, you could easily get good pro wrestling events. But why not?
I'm into it. I'm into all these ideas. Just not another Nintendo Olympic game, Sonic Mario Olympic game. They didn't do one this time. I think they're done. Maybe they lost the license. I don't know.
Yeah, but I think that's it. I think you have to, if you wanted to do one that was based on the games, you really have to get different teams focused on getting all the games or a good number of the games down really good.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
You know, otherwise you're basically got like Bayou Billy, right? It's not a good fighting game. It's not a good shooting game. It's not a good driving game. You could have done one of those three things really well and called that a game.
Yeah, true. Oh, I tried to like that game so many times.
Yeah, I did too. Nintendo Power, man. Sometimes I think we should have a class action suit, like for like all the really horrible games Nintendo Power convinced everybody our age to buy. Because Adventures of Bayou Billy was definitely like, oh, Nintendo Power says this is awesome, so I better get this.
Oh, they hyped that up for like months in a row.
Yeah.
But yeah, speaking of gaming magazines, I also just wanted to acknowledge our last episode was a 3DO magazine read that we did a long time ago.
Yeah, I forgot we even did it.
Yeah, that was a fun read, though. That was a good magazine.
Yeah. Yeah, that was a fun time to own a 3DO because, like, if you went into any video game store in 1996 and headed straight for the clearance bin, you could walk out with a lot of cheap 3DO games.
Yeah, I wish I would have done that or thought about it. Yeah.
Yeah, and I had no money in 1996.
Exactly. So I was so
much
poor.
An option for me.
Yeah, even at those prices. Well, should we? I guess we have a podcast that we do.
We got a couple news articles, a topic, all that stuff. I think I added this one. If I sound funny again, I have been dealing with some sort of illness.
Oh, did you lose your voice at Lollapalooza?
No, because I just sat around like in the old people area and drank beer all day.
Did you see any events or any shows?
I kind of stayed by like the smaller stages where it's like, you know, up and coming artists or whatever. So I saw a lot of like smaller acts. I was mostly just there to, you know, chill out, drink beer, and eat some overpriced Italian beef, you know.
So you did not mosh, you did not ride the crowd.
Oh no. I don't need to break anything. And some of those crowds, man, there are some acts. I didn't realize how popular some of these acts are. I mean, there were massive, like, human migrations for some of the artists out there.
That's terrifying. I'm not built for crowds like that.
It was pretty. Yeah, I mean, it was pretty busy for sure.
What's this article?
This is a new budget entry level Genesis Mega Drive flash cartridge from Open EverDrive. So it's the Open ED, Open EverDrive. It's designed by Crix. Mm-hmm. Did I pronounce that right?
Good pronunciation. Yeah.
It was a wild guess. And it's, a budget cartridge, $29.
Yeah, that's awesome. And you could build it yourself. And yeah, it's good to see he's still doing it. Remember, he was in the Ukraine and had to relocate, I think, to Spain.
Spain, yeah. I remember reading that. Because Spain is one of the countries where if you can just buy a house, you get a passport.
Yeah. The next one, did you put this next one or did I? I can't remember.
You must have. I don't.
No.
Maybe.
So there's this new homebrew Genesis Mega Drive game that came out that you could download for free called Hayato's Journey. And I think it looks pretty good. The sound is great. A lot of cool effects like fire and smoke and parallax scrolling. And looks like you're a ninja. It's kind of like a Ninja Spirit meets Strider meets
Shinobi.
Shinobi, yeah. It looks cool.
Yeah, and I did put this in the notes. I remember adding it now. It looks a lot like a Shinobi game to me. I do see the Ninja Spirit influence in here too.
Yeah, this looks cool. I kind of want this, which is free, so I will get it. I think he posted the next one before I did.
Yeah. ROMhacking.net is moving to read-only. There are basically... I don't want to go into like the internal drama. You can read the post. But the person who's been running the site has decided to put the site into archive mode. They are still going to post news releases, but you cannot submit new content. And it is just a living archive now.
Yeah, they did upload the SQL database, and I'm assuming all the files too, to archive.org, so that is curated by them. But yeah, this is kind of a nice gatekeeper and a nice way to see visually, like literally with pictures and videos of what the ROM hacks looked like. So it was kind of nice to see that instead of just picking from a list of games,
Yeah. Yeah, and they've been running the site for a long time, never charged money for it. I don't think there's even ads on the site. I have an ad blocker, but I think even before I did, I don't. Yeah. Just been, and again, providing free content on the internet is really one of the most miserable, thankless things you can ever do. And this, I'll take the posters, the administrator's story at face value, and it sounds like, running a totally free site where you charge people nothing brought him nothing but misery.
Yeah. And also with companies becoming more litigious recently, that also he mentioned kind of was motivation to get out of it. And I don't blame him. You have a family and stuff. You don't want to jeopardize anything,
Yeah. Yeah, not worth it, man.
Let's see. Oh, I posted this next one, and I only kind of understand it. So there's this new game you could download. Well, I guess bundle you could download for the Switch called Jalico LLE Famicom Edition. I don't know what the LLE is for, but it has City Connection and MoPro, which I don't know MoPro. But I do know City Connection, and that's a pretty fun game, actually. Pinball Quest, too.
Yeah, I have a cartridge for this. So I don't need this one. Yeah, it's a shame these aren't just on, like, the Switch NES library.
Exactly. Yeah. But when stuff like this pops up, you know, I always say, hey, if there's a way to pay developers, you know, to play games legally instead of downloading ROMs, you know, that's why we download ROMs, because they don't give us ways to play stuff. So that's why I like posting this stuff. And that's our news.
That is it.
It was about the right amount of news.
Does, yeah. Possibly too much. Jotted down a topic here. The new Nintendo 3DS, because we've been talking about wanting to talk about the new Nintendo 3DS. Real quick, do you own one of these? Is it in your notes and I missed it?
Yes, I own the Majora's Mask XL, and I own some Mario variant of the regular size one. And then my kids have 2DS.
The 2D one, which is shaped like a 3D one. It's shaped like a 2D where it's like a flip, right?
I have the clamshell one. Yeah, I don't have the rigid, weird-looking one.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay, good. Well, yeah, that's basically the same story here. I have the Majora's Mask, or Zelda-themed one, which is usually the DS when I travel that I take most of the time now. Mostly because it's the best battery life of all my DSs at this point. And then one of my kids has the 2D one. The flip, you know, the making the hand gesture for the people at home.
Is it the black and blue one?
Yeah, black and blue. I think it's the only color. Was that the only color they made of that?
I feel like there's two colors of it, but the other one I think was way uglier. Like neon yellow and something. I could be wrong, though.
Well, it's very nice looking. We own maybe 6 Nintendo, maybe 7 Nintendo DSs between all of us. So, of course, I'm going to own every variant of this thing. So I had to go and look up what was new about the new 3DS. And it's not a lot. So it says, better eye tracking for 3D effect.
Yep.
Don't know what that means.
So, you know, it looks at your eyes. So when you have the 3D engaged, it can see when you're looking away, and it could change whatever it's doing on the fly. And on the regular 3DS, that didn't work as good as in the new 3DS. So, in short, you get a headache. It takes longer to get headaches. That's all.
Okay. Sorry, I'm taking another cough drop. Double the RAM, 128 to 256.
It's pretty big.
A lot more megahertz, 268 megahertz ARM to 804 megahertz ARM. That's probably just based on what was available at the time.
That's huge, though.
Yeah, I probably almost nothing really takes that much advantage of it. Display resolution is exactly the same. Upgraded cameras, but I put in the notes who was taking pictures with their DS anyways. The analog nub.
Yeah.
And the battery is larger, but not noticeably longer in life. Although it seems longer in life to me.
That analog nub, they should have just done a PSP style analog stick. They could have fit that in there.
Yeah, the PSP's analog stick is pretty tiny. Built-in amiibo reader.
Oh, I didn't realize that was an add-on for the original. Interesting.
Yeah, so the other one has like a modular reader. Like it's a separate piece of hardware. And then it can play Super Nintendo Virtual Console games. Which
is great. And then there's some exclusives here you listed.
So these are games that require the new 3DS. So in all regions, it is Fire Emblem Warriors, Minecraft 3DS, and Xenoblade Chronicles 3D. So that's all regions. Oof.
That's a rough list. Playing Xeno Chronicles, I mean, I'm certain that one needed the megahertz and the RAM. I'm sure Minecraft just needed the RAM. But it's hailed as the worst version of Minecraft. But I've recently watched videos about it, and it doesn't seem too bad. But it's one of the games that doesn't support 3D. Out of all the games that should support 3D, it should be Minecraft.
yeah, that would make sense. So then we have US and Europe exclusives. 6180 The Moon. I don't know. These are also all in Australia except for this game. Runbow Pocket and The Binding of Isaac Rebirth.
So,
and then,
well, let's stop on these.
Okay.
So, 6180 The Moon, however it's supposed to be pronounced, literally looks like it could run on a TI 85.
Yeah, looks very simple.
Yep, no reason it should need extra anything. And the Binding of Isaac, I mean, it seems like a pretty simple game, so I'm not sure what the deal is there. Maybe it's written in some framework that it takes up a lot of resources. I don't know.
Yeah, maybe it's written in Unity or something.
Yeah,
I don't know.
yeah.
Okay, so then Japan exclusives, Dragon Fang Z. And Europe exclusives, War and Romance visual novel, which I could probably run on the original Game Boy.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's just, I mean, I'm not knocking the game.
Yeah.
Whatever. That's a perfectly fun genre of game, but it is, it's very low tech.
Yeah.
Right? It doesn't need any extra hardware. And then, of course, the Super Nintendo Virtual Console, and I mean, there's a lot of great stuff in there.
Yeah, I mean, that's kind of the reason to have this system, right?
Yeah, so you can play like Super Metroid or Link to the Past or Donkey Kong Country or whatever.
Mm-hmm. And then I got a list of games sourced from GiantBomb.com of games that can run on the original 3DS, but are enhanced when you're running on the new 3DS. And
Okay.
you know, let's see, Snack World, Poochie and Yoshi's Woolly World, Metroid Prime, Blast Ball, Lego Star Wars Force Awakens, SteamWorld Heist. I'm not going to go through all these.
Yeah, I was gonna say please.
Yeah, please stop. Yeah, there's a lot. Dementium Remastered is a first-person haunted, scary shooter that's kind of cool. Let's see, some good highlights. Do you know Codename Steam?
No.
It's a very
Surprise.
cool 3DS game that's like it's hard to explain. It's a 3D kind of shooter, really silly game. Ironfall is a very cool game. It's funny, I own most of these. Hyrule Warriors is fantastic, but I would not want to play that on a 3DS. And then like Luigi's Mansion. Yeah, so I mean, I bet they just have more frames per second for the most part.
Yeah,
right?
I mean, like I see Retro City Rampage on here, which is a fun game.
Mm-hmm. But again, like
list.
it's good it runs on the original. Like it seems like no reason for it to need the extra stuff. Have you ever played Final Fantasy Explorers? Did I ask you that last time, I think?
I don't remember. I don't remember if you asked me that, but I have not played it.
Yeah, I think I tried that one. Yeah, so it's kind of a, there's like 30 some games. So that's kind of a lot that you get a little bit extra on. But what are your thoughts on this system?
I mean, my biggest thought is I don't understand why Nintendo made this. Like, they already had complete, total domination of the handheld market at this point.
Mm-hmm.
So it's not like they needed to build a system to compete hardware-wise with the Vita. It doesn't matter because they didn't, right?
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
This still isn't anywhere near as powerful as the Vita. Like, they could have just kept releasing the 3DS in different color variants and probably sold the same number of units.
Exactly. Yeah, I agree.
So the only one I mentioned, I played the Xenoblade Chronicles 3D on here, really didn't like it. Got rid of it. My kid who likes Minecraft says this is like the worst version of Minecraft.
Yeah, a lot of people think that. But
despite that, I don't really have any regrets buying it because it's still a really good DS variant.
Yeah, if you're going to get a 3DS, you're going to, get this one for sure. Especially if you're going to use like an R4 card to do like DS emulating, because you could also use it to do retro game emulating, and I'm sure it runs them a bit better. I have no proof of that, but that seems logical, right?
Yep.
Yeah, I do. I mean, the DS series is probably one of my all-time favorite consoles, so I don't have much to say about this other than, yeah, there really wasn't any reason for it. Possibly they should have done an upgraded version of Mario Maker for it, or made Mario Maker at least take advantage of it. And this has nothing to do with the new 3DS, but I just would like to say how great the Sega games that took advantage of the 3D effect were. Like, I think this is the best way to play Space Harrier, you know?
Okay.
So that's a reason. That's a shame that the e-store closed, because I think that's one of the only ways to get that game. But
it's on a cart. I have Space Harrier on a 3DS cartridge.
you do?
It's a collection, yeah.
Was that sold in the U.S. though?
Yeah. Hold on, let me check here. Oh wait, I might have misspoke about what's on this collection.
Yeah, I think Space Harrier only came out in Japan in physical.
Yeah, because I have Sega 3D Classics collection, and I thought for sure Space Harrier would be on
No, there's. I think there's a part 2 and possibly a part 3.
Yeah, Power Drift, Dr. Robotnik's Mean Bean Machine 2, Sonic the Hedgehog, Altered Beast, Galaxy Force. What is that? Final Zone or whatever. Nope, you're right. I do not see Space Harrier on here.
Again, a great way to play all those games is on the 3DS. So,
well, shows you what I know.
I wonder if this coming out gave an excuse for PlayStation to release the PS4 Pro. You know, like this is the first like half generation system.
Is Space Harrier on the PlayStation 2 Sega Arcade Collection?
I don't know. Let's see. Let me go to eBay for this one. Oops. Let's see. What are they called again?
There was a PS2 Sega Arcade Collection.
Oh, I do not know.
I might own a copy of that too. I'm pretty sure I do. Sega Classics. Here it is. Well, you can buy it on Amazon, renewed, whatever the heck that means. That means it's a fancy way of saying used. And, you know, because this is like arcade games on the PS2. So I remember this one is strictly arcade versions, because I think I bought it thinking it was like a Genesis collection, and then was disappointed it was only the arcade versions.
Yeah, like the arcade port of Space Harrier is rough on a console, because having that stick, it would always bring you back to center, and not having that feedback of that whole giant stick going back to center really makes it strange.
Yeah, so this has Monaco GP, Fantasy Zone, Space Harrier, Golden Axe, Bonanza Bros, Columns, Virtual Racing, Outrun, and Alien Syndrome. They call it Flat Out. What's Virtual Racing Flat Out?
I don't know. That's a really strange collection.
It is, yeah. Wait, no Altered Beast? Huh, that's weird for a... Yeah. Whatever, Altered Beast is kind of short, so...
So any closing thoughts on the new 3DS, which is 10 years old this year?
It is, yeah. We didn't even plan that. No, again, I like it. I like the system. It's just like, you know, I felt it's kind of unnecessary.
Yeah. Yeah, I did have this and a Vita, and I don't know, I think this won out in the long run compared to the Vita. I do love the Vita. Mm-hmm. Well, we do have some Game Club games. Mine's up there first, so I guess I'll go. Warbirds on the Lynx. This is an Atari game, not Epic's, shockingly for the Lynx, from 91. And it's like a World War I first-person, I guess, dogfighting game where you fly like a double-winged, bi-wing, I guess you would call it, airplane, and you're trying to shoot down other similar airplanes, and it does the pseudo 3D fantastic. Great sound effects, great gameplay. You could choose different modes, so it's like, to kind of sum it up, kind of a easy to, you're an epic pilot kind of mode, but you could also like change how much ammo you get, if collisions actually kill the players, your number of lives, the strength of the ammo, all that stuff. So really cool game, almost like a tech demo more than a game, which is not a diss. And it's surprisingly fantastic. It's got to be one of the best Lynx games. And the developer of this game, Robert, I can't pronounce that last name. I'm not even going to try with that last name. Zdybel. Has some pretty cool credits. He even did stuff like Pigs in Space back in the day. So he's been doing this for a long time.
As a flashback, I'm pretty sure that was on the 2600 Game by Game podcast at some point.
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah.
And he worked on the Simpsons games and Spider-Man games for like the PS2 and Wii era. And so what do you think of this game?
So I think it's a very technically advanced game. I mean, obviously. Mm-hmm. Like, I was super impressed with how good this game looks and how fast it plays for the amount of stuff it's throwing on the screen at you, man. It is, like, I know the Lynx is very powerful hardware for its time, but this is just, it seems way too good to be on the system for me.
Agreed, yeah.
Yeah. And the difficulty I thought was pretty balanced. Like, the early stages are very, very easy.
Yes.
All I really notice is the enemies take like a lot of hits to bring down, but maybe that's how it actually worked back then with those kind of weapons. I've never fought in the Red Baron or anything like that, so I don't actually know how realistic that is. But yeah, I just thought this was it's hard to believe this is a Lynx game, man. It is really good.
It's hard to believe that it's exclusive. It never left the Lynx.
Yeah.
Oh, one thing I forgot to mention that's really impressive is, I guess, because of physics, you have your prop spinning in one direction. You could bank in one direction faster than you can in the other. And there is a mode where you can enable that realistic physics if you like. It's kind of a nice little touch. But yeah, for the Lynx, I'd give this 10 out of 10 for sure. It's definitely one you should own if you have a Lynx.
Yeah.
Let's move on to your game.
Yeah, I picked Wii Sports. Sorry, I'm still dealing with the cough thing. So this is a game I still play a lot. I play this game pretty often, especially in winter, because it's a good way to just, get an extra kind of 5 minutes of moving every day. Mm-hmm. Sometimes, it is in winter. I mean, you might not now in Australia, but you have been in Michigan for many winters, and sometimes just finding any excuse to just move around is hard.
Oh, totally. We're cave people. Yeah.
Yeah. So I said I find bowling, golf, and tennis to all be perfect games, meaning like I would not change anything about any of those games. Mm-hmm. Like golf, I would add more courses. Otherwise, I would not change a single thing about those games. And the later Wii Sports games, or games called Wii Sports, I think golf is actually worse than those.
Agreed.
Because they actually try and mimic golfing a little too much. Wii Sports is just so simple. You don't really have to know how golfing works to be good at the golf game.
Yeah.
Baseball is kind of, it's annoying as a one-player game. The batting challenges are really good, like home run derby, that kind of stuff. Mm-hmm. But it's sort of like, I don't know, if I play with my kids, someone usually just, I think it's got like a slaughter rule built in that if someone's up by more than 10 points, the game ends. And you can do that in like one inning.
A mercy rule.
Yeah. It's not that hard to just keep cranking out home runs once you're like minimally good at that game. Mm-hmm. Really, the only thing I don't like is boxing. Tried it a couple times. Cannot get into the boxing game on there. So
it's probably the most athletic one to get you moving, though.
Probably, yeah. Yeah, I just don't enjoy that one. But it's all right, because the other games more than make up for it, man. The three, bowling, golf, tennis. I mean, that is, I probably logged 100 hours at each of those. Mm-hmm. It has to be more than 100 at this point. I mean, this game came out 16 years ago, something like that, 17 years ago, I don't know, many years ago. And the music is, of course, super calming. You know, you can go on YouTube and find like 10-hour loops of a lot of the themes. You know, if you just want to chill out and have it play in the background. I also noted this was a definition of a killer app game, like Tetris on the Game Boy.
Absolutely.
So, you know, the Wii... Yeah, so the Wii had, like, none of the horsepower of the PlayStation 3 or Xbox 360, but outsold both of them combined. Mm-hmm. And that's basically because of Wii Sports.
Yeah, I mean, that was Nintendo's problem, right? They were selling Wiis, but not enough games.
Not enough games. It's kind of funny, when I was doing some research, I went back and found, you know, because Wii Sports is old enough that, you know, the internet was around when it came out. Like, it's new enough, I should say. Mm-hmm. So a lot of old, like, you know, gaming sites that still have archives up from back then have a whole lot of people complaining about the game being overly simple and basically not being a real, you know, game. And it's, like, I wrote down, it's sort of like early signs of the toxic gamer identity that we all have to deal with today.
Yeah.
Where it's like, well, it's not a real game because, you know, you aren't mowing down hordes of zombie Nazis or whatever. And I last point here, I think if Nintendo made a dedicated Wii Sports device, like just a device you plugged it in, it just played Wii Sports, like I think every bar and retirement home and rec center in the country would buy one of them.
Absolutely. Yeah. I'd probably buy one.
Oh yeah, I would buy one for sure. I mean, I think that's like 100 million units that they would sell. I'm really not even kidding.
No, absolutely. Yeah. It's unfortunate, though, that they really haven't been able to make lightning strike twice. You know, like the latter ones, what is it, Resorts after that, and then, of course, 1-2 Switch just didn't hit. Yeah,
just not quite. I think it's just, this is just so simple. You just turn it on and play. You know, there's sort of minimal, like, calibration and practice at the beginning you got to do. But you don't have to think, I mean, you don't have to be really good in these sports. You just have to understand the basic mechanics of them.
Did you ever get a Wii balancing board?
We did get one.
How often was it used?
I did not use it. My wife actually used it quite a bit.
Okay.
She used it quite a bit in winter to do, I guess, yoga routines, that kind of stuff. It was hooked up for a while. Keep in mind, like, the Wii came out right around the time our second kid was born. So at that point, you know, having a device in the house that encouraged you to exercise every day was something, you know, she really wanted.
Oh, that makes sense. Yeah.
You know, I attempted the Wii balance board, but got tired of the fat shaming.
Like, they really do that.
Yeah, I mean, I know it's Japan. It's kind of their cultural thing, you know. Whaling and fat shaming are like their thing. And ironically, whales are really big. I never made that connection until just now.
Oh yeah.
Huh. It's got to be like the same psychology behind both of those then. Anyways, yeah, it's not like, oh yeah, your BMI is above average. It's like, hey, you're morbidly obese and you're going to die. And I'm like, I don't think I'm morbidly obese. It was, I thought it was a little harsh in how it told you were overweight. I mean, that was just me. And I wasn't even overweight using the thing.
Yeah, I plugged mine in like 5 years ago and only used it for like a week. But it still worked great. It's still impressive technology, I thought.
Mm-hmm. What are your thoughts about Wii Sports?
I put in here, it's definitely a once in a generation game. Like, you really had to be there to understand its impact. Like, it was everywhere. Mm-hmm. And it's amazing how Nintendo could keep doing that with, you know, the Mario series and then this and then the Switch. And after playing it, you know, I thought that all games should make you move. This is great. But then after playing it a little bit longer, I thought, I just want to sit on the couch with a controller. Yeah. Maybe eat some chips. You know, this game brought generations of families together. And, you know, my family played bowling the most. And then at my parents' house, we hosted most family gatherings, you know, all the big U.S. holidays. And so my mom thought the Wii was a good thing for the younger people to have in the house. And so the only other game she bought was Metroid Prime Trilogy. Not knowing anything about it, so I came to visit one time. I'm like, why is this here? Of course, it was unopened because, I don't know, no one ever thought to open it because there's Wii Sports there. And and that's why I own Metro Prime Trilogy now.
Yeah, well, that's a hard game to get. So
yeah, but yeah, absolutely. I think we both picked fantastic games this time.
I think so. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, very different games, but both excellent.
What are you going to play for the next episode?
Well, it's the end of summer. My kids are going back to school soon. So I'm going to get in one last summer break, a little summer trip, and we're going to do theme park.
Nice. That's great.
Any version. I'm probably going to go with like the Saturn or Genesis version. Oh, I might own this on Jaguar. Hold on. I got to look. I might own this on Jaguar too.
Nice.
Whichever version has a cheat code. That's the version I'm going to play.
Nice.
Because I am not grinding in this game, man. I just want to have sandbox.
Mm-hmm. Well, I'm going to do The Legend of Zelda Ocarina of Time. Any version. Yeah. But again, we just talked about the 3DS, so maybe play the 3DS port. That is a good one.
Yeah, when I saw you added this, I tried it on the Switch and 64, and I did not care for the controls. So I don't think I have time to do a full playthrough, but I will probably try it on a system that is not the Switch.
Nice. Well, cool. Well, if any of our listeners play Theme Park, Ocarina of Time, Wii Sports, Warbirds, if you have any new 3DS exclusives or thoughts about it, if you build your own EverDrive or have memories of anything you downloaded from ROM hacks or trying to build your own desktop. Now, it used to be easy. Yeah. Now it's not as great. Please email us. Email at retrogameclub.net. That is email at retrogameclub.net. And Zach also runs all our socials, which are linked in our show notes. And our Discord has actually been very active lately, so definitely get in on that too.
All right. You got a couple emails. Majors writes in, talks about good game, bad name. He suggests Flash Hiders is a good one. Gone Bear Golf Boys. These are all TurboGrafx PCE games. Mm-hmm. Summer Assault, Popping World, Super Albatross, which I own, and of course the East series because no one can ever pronounce it right.
That is true, yeah.
And of course games with misleading titles like Final Soldier, only to be followed up by Soldier Blade. Mm-hmm. Yeah. What is the correct way to pronounce Turok?
Turok.
As in Turok the Dinosaur Hunter.
Turok. Yeah, like Turok? Tupac. Turok.
Yeah, well, he's arguing it should be pronounced like Tupac, and I pronounce it like Tor-Rock. I'm going to stick with mine.
You are canceled.
Yeah, good. Have we talked about Narc as a Game Club game before?
Yeah, I think it was a Game Club game.
Well, we have a spreadsheet, don't we?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it wasn't that long ago either. Here, let me look.
But anyways, the Retronauts, which have been around forever, just did an episode on Narc by coincidence.
In January we did.
We did Narc.
Yep.
What else did we talk about in that episode?
Let's see. The Price is Wrong.
Okay. Right here, I picked Narc, Season 5, Episode 21.
Is that when we did it?
Yeah. So you did King's Quest 3 to Air is Human. And then I did Narc, and I said I only played the first stage of the NES version. And commented on how Nintendo didn't want drug references, so instead you're fighting generic thugs.
Sounds about right. But what's Major saying about Narc?
That it was featured on a different podcast just in the past week, but
yeah, they copy us all the time.
Yeah, of course. The whole show was just a ripoff of this one.
Yeah.
Now I lost my place. Hacker movies. Recommends. I don't think I've seen all these, but I've seen some of them. Like Strange Days, Mr. Robot, Halt and Catch Fire. One of those, I think, is a TV show.
Yeah, I've watched all those.
Maybe
Yeah.
all of them. Of course, War Games. Mm-hmm. I mean, I have Hackers is still one of my favorite movies, and I own it on PSP.
Yeah.
Which is good because the PSP movies, as we've talked about before, are abridged.
Have you seen the unofficial sequel to it? It has, what was it called? Ryan Philippe. How do you pronounce his name? Felipe?
That sounds right.
Was in it. What was that called? And Rachel Lee Cook was in it.
Okay, so this is like the I Know What You Did Last Summer.
Yeah, and they were like, he's like a tech bro.
Oh, yeah, I think you are. I think people are mistaken. Oh, someone's texting me. Okay. No, there is another movie called Takedown that is a fictionalized version. No. In a bootleg movie called Hackers 3. Wait, no. To further confuse people, the film Antitrust has been cited in bootlegs labeled Hackers 3.
Antitrust is what I'm thinking of, yeah.
Oh, okay.
Takedown is the movie adaptation of Ghost in the Machine, which is Kevin Mitnick's autobiography.
Okay.
Which is also pretty funny.
Like actual Hackers.
Yeah. Antitrust is entertaining, though. I would recommend it if you want something in the background or you're bored or something.
And yes, Antitrust. Ryan Philippe, Rachel Lee Cook, Claire Forlani, who is in Mallrats, I believe.
Yeah.
And Tim Robbins.
Yes, he plays the evil Steve Jobs type figure.
2001, Antitrust. Okay, hold on, because we got a little time to fill here. Rotten Tomatoes score for Antitrust.
Let me guess.
Are you going to guess the audience score or the reviewers score?
I'll do both.
Okay.
Reviewers, I will go with 59.
Okay.
And audience, I will go with 65.
Okay. Reviewers, 24%. Audience, 50%.
Oh, wow.
Is currently available on Fandango at Home, or Fandango, however you, I don't
Fandango, yeah.
HBO Max, which I don't have, and Apple TV, which I had a trial version of once.
Well, there you go. You could watch it. It's got to be on Tubi or something. Pluto.
It's not showing up as being on Tubi. Let me go over here to Real Good. That's the one I use. There's a couple different services. It's like Just Watch and Real Good. I like Real Good because it remembers. Oh no! Oh, no! Don't log in with. Oh, sorry. Hold on. This is the problem. You have multiple browsers open. It's trying to open the wrong Google account. That nightmare of accidentally logging into the wrong Google account. You know, because you have one Google account that you don't mind linking to a bunch of garbage, another one you don't want linking to any garbage.
Yeah. And I have work ones and non-work ones.
Yeah. So I'm gonna. All right. Where to stream anything? Grust. Yeah, this has the same list. I'm sorry. HBO Max.
Oh, wow.
Not available on any of my services. You can, and even so, like, it's not streaming on Apple TV. You can buy it or rent it on Apple TV. So no, HBO Max only if you want to see. And yeah, this is probably entertaining.
You know, sometimes if I just 1 second.
Mm-hmm.
Oh no, it's Antitrust full movie is on YouTube. Oh wait, no, it's only 2 seconds long. Probably not the full movie. But sometimes
no.
I just look for a movie. Hey, yeah, the whole no, it's not on there. Sometimes that does happen though.
It's not important. It is. This does look like the kind of thing that will be on Tubi at some point.
Yeah, everyone should watch it. and email us about it. What else does Majors have to say?
Game Club Games, that's what I was trying to figure out. Rad Racer. He mentions he has a Play Choice 10 with Rad Racer. Said it was, that maybe doesn't like it as much as Hang On, but overall good. There's a local private arcade by him that has a Timber.
Ooh, nice.
Warbirds. Can't even pronounce that. He says he ends up, every time he plays it, he gets lost and just ends up circling around.
That does happen.
Yeah.
The clouds don't help.
Social media question. What are your favorite games from the Atari Lynx? It says the best game is the surfing game in California Games. But also Rampage, Toki, Ninja Gaiden, and Road Blasters are all ones.
Yeah, great ports those.
Very, very good.
Yep.
And I was curious if you decided to play Batman Returns. I guess you talked about that on Discord.
Oh, yeah, not yet. I've been playing our next Game Club game, so that's been taking up most of my time. But I will. And I think that wraps up Majors' email. Thank you, Majors, for that. And Brian writes in with one of the few, I guess, corrections we're reading.
Yeah, normally I don't accept corrections, yeah.
Yeah, we have a policy against corrections because just assume everything we say is wrong.
Yes.
We could have follow-up podcasts every week about all the corrections. But there's one here about we thought Fallout New Vegas was a 360 exclusive, but I guess it's on Steam and other stuff now.
Yeah. I mean, from my kid's standpoint, it's a 360 exclusive because I skipped the PlayStation 3. I don't, despite owning every other variant of PlayStation, I never owned a PlayStation 3. And none of my kids really have gaming PCs. I don't know if they have Steam accounts.
How did she like that game?
Oh, we didn't get it yet.
Oh, okay.
I still have to get it. You can't download it because the 360 store doesn't exist anymore.
Yeah,
so I gotta go pick
you
up
missed that by like a week.
Yeah, I got to pick up a copy on eBay or something. No, because as I mentioned in the part about Wii Sports, right? Like we had our second kid around the time the Wii came out. Mm-hmm. So I'm like, I didn't buy either of the, I'll say, adult systems of that generation.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I had one young kid at home and a baby. I wasn't really all that interested in playing Grand Theft Auto 4.
Well, we still have, thank you, Brian, for that.
Yes, thank you.
And we have some social media questions. What is your favorite combat flight simulator? I don't know why that's hard for me to say. I put mine in there first. I like TIE Fighter, I like Squadrons, and most importantly, one of our first Game Club games, Wings of Fury. And No Swear Gamer writes in and says he has a soft spot for Tomcat F-14 and F-22 F-14's on the 2600, F-22 is on the Genesis. And then Starsky writes in with G Please. It came out when he got his Gateway 2000 PC, which was a Pentium 2 266 with MMX. He wants to see if that could run on modern hardware. Someone was able to write in time for what was in the Hotel Mario CDI case.
Okay.
And he pretty much says drugs, like he found once. Yeah. TurboGrafx 16 jewel case.
Yeah, I mean, I found some interesting stuff in Sega Genesis cases at Goodwill's before.
I believe.
Salvation Armies. I've never found drugs, but luckily new birth control devices were a pretty common one. Like people were using the Sega Genesis case to keep their mom from finding their stash, I guess.
Yeah. That's funny. And then they end up at Goodwill.
Right, then one day mom cleans up the room and just throws the game, just the box in there, and then I open it up and, oh, yeah, look at that. Those are probably all expired.
Our next question of the episode is, have you ever taken time off specifically to game?
Mm-hmm.
So
are you counting like going to a convention?
What do you mean?
Well, like if I took a day off to go to Midwest Gaming Classic, does that count?
I think it does. Yeah.
Okay.
But yeah, again, email us at email@retrogameclub.net or hit us up on all our socials, which Zach takes care of. Thank you, Zach. And you can chat with me and others on Discord. Not Hugh. He's not on socials.
Yeah.
He's anti-socials.
I'm totally against all the socials. That is true.
Well, what's our game club games again? Oh, yeah. The Legend of Zelda, Ocarina of Time, and Theme Park. So please email us if you play those as well. And thanks for listening.
Yeah, thank you for listening.